Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Anime Avenue podcast brought to you by AnimeAvenue.co. I'm your host, Habit, and this podcast is just going to be a slight introduction, just letting you guys know, who each one of us are. So we'll just start off with Kid, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is Kid, and I am glad to be on the podcast. And you guys know me. I'm a big fan of My Hero Academia. I look forward to the chapters that come out on a weekly basis. I look forward to the anime whenever it comes out yearly. And I'm also looking forward to any other anime and manga that comes out every once in a while, if it's good or bad or whatever. I'm willing to give things shots and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Where can they find you at, Kid?
If you want to find me, if you look below my picture, you can follow me on my Twitter and the real Kid Otaku, or you can check out my YouTube channel, which is Kid Otaku.
Whoa.
You could see me on there.
Or check out your slick Instagram selfies.
Oh yeah, man.
That's also in the description.
You gotta do those nice duck faces every once in a while.
All right, Zypher, you can introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Zypher. You know me. I mostly do One Piece and My Hero content, mostly live reactions. I'll eventually want to do more stuff on my channel, but that's what I'm pretty much doing. I've recently started watching JoJo. Absolutely love it. Fantastic series. I've been sleeping on it for a while, so if any of you are watching that, definitely recommend it. But if you want to follow me on my social media, Twitter or YouTube, it is down right below the avatar, and that's pretty much it.
Wow, that's it, dude?
I mean...
We want more, Zypher. We want more.
All right, yo, follow me on my Snapchat. Follow me on my Instagram. I'm Zypher, Snapchat Pro Zypher. Follow my Twitch, twitch.tv. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's just get into it.
Don't do any of that. And I'm your host for today's podcast, Habit. I don't do YouTube, so no point in looking at my YouTube channel. I don't even know why it's there. Just for aesthetic purposes. You can watch all of my horrible previous videos. And you can check out my Twitter where I post absolutely nothing. And my Instagram when I post once every couple of weeks. So, pretty much you can't find me anywhere. Yeah. I'm a very good social media influencer.
I mean, to be honest, Habit just mostly runs the website. So obviously this podcast is based on the website and everything around it. So just mostly if you're looking at the website, most of the articles are probably going to be done by Habit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if they're bad, then don't blame me.
It on him.
Blame someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not any of my fault.
You
But-
can either point the finger at me or Zypher.
Yeah, today was pretty much just a short little podcast for our introduction, but later on when we're doing future podcasts, we'll probably do more relevant topics towards what's going on week by week, such as I know probably Kid will, well, I guess Kid and Zypher can bring you guys up to speed on what's happening in My Hero and One Piece and everything towards that line. There'll definitely be some other types of topics as well. Definitely you guys can always recommend us topics as well by reaching out on Twitter or just putting in the comments of every single podcast pretty much, and we'll try as best as we can to get to everyone's topic if you have one. Yeah.
All right, so I guess we could go into this. Kid, I wanted to ask you personally, what are you watching? What are you up to? Is there any new seasonal anime that obviously we already know you love My Hero, but in terms of new seasonal anime, are you watching anything?
Unfortunately, I'm not watching anything this season, but I've heard from a lot of people that this season's supposed to be very chill, so there's a lot of good anime coming out. And I was gonna check out Attack on Titan, and I know this is gonna surprise a lot of people, but I've only seen the first 2 episodes of Attack on Titan, so I'm not fully caught up with the series yet. But if I do get the chance, I'll probably try to catch up to that as quick as I can so I can watch the 3rd season, because I heard there's supposed to be a lot of interesting things going along with that. But besides all of that, I was considering checking out this other anime that I discussed with you earlier because
Oh,
I
you know, on the hot springs.
yeah, because I heard a lot of people were like talking about that series. I'm not. I don't read the manga. I know the manga is currently ongoing right now, but I don't really know like what I don't know like why it's so popular. So that's why I'm curious to check it out and see how it is. So I guess that's probably one of the anime I'll probably be checking out this season, or probably look into other ones as well. But other than that, not much. I mean, I know I'm definitely looking forward to the fall season because I know earlier this year, me and you discovered this manga called Radiant,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and we found out that there's supposed to be an anime coming out for it in fall of 2018, and we also saw the PV for it, I believe, like 4 or 5 months ago. So that's an anime I'm definitely looking forward to.
Yeah, personally for me, I think I'm gonna definitely check out Yuna in the Hot Springs. Apparently, it's like the high school DxD, or like the new generation high school DxD, but it's like all around a hot spring. So who knows how that will go? But personally for me, a series that I think everyone should check out is called Granblue Dreaming. I think the first thing that pulled me in is because I always look at these animes that are coming out, and then I look at what their manga adaptation has, or if they has a light novel, what is that? And then it had like a 9 out of 10. I'm like, wait, this is just a slice of life comedy. And then I read a little bit into it, and then I started watching the first episode that just came out like less than a week ago. And it's about the whole scenario of it is it's about this guy who's entering college, but he lives by the beach, and it's like this whole diving school plus like college life. So it's just them just messing around and having a crazy college life. And it was actually quite funny the first episode. It really kind of reminded me of like kind of like Prison School, if you've ever seen Prison School. It's really funny. Other than that, I'm waiting for Attack on Titan to come out. Gonna be continuing to watch My Hero, but I don't know about Habit. What about you? Are you watching anything?
Currently I'm not really watching much. I mean, I'm catching up to the last season of Sword Art that just came on last season, but as far as this season, I'm not even sure what's really out, to be completely honest with you. I feel like it's mostly just like continuations for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, is that Hot Springs thing you were talking about? Is that this season?
No, yeah, it's brand new.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Granblue, isn't that a continuation of the first season, or is that the first
No,
season of
not Grand Blue
Granblue?
Fantasy. This is
Oh,
this
okay.
is this is something else. It's brand new.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the first episode of that badminton anime with you.
Hanibado or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely will probably continue with that. But, I mean, honestly, I feel like as of lately, the hype for me when it comes to seasonal stuff just really hasn't been there for the most part. I mean, besides, like, continuations, there haven't been many, like, original things that have come out that's actually interest me. But
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong because for the most part, when I saw this season, I was like, all right, so there's a couple of continuations I'm gonna be watching, and this is like basically catch-up season, all the animes that I've been sleeping on. Because like currently, after I catch up to JoJo, I want to watch the two series that a lot of people keep recommending, and I need to catch up on is Cowboy Bebop and Steins Gate. And I heard those two series are phenomenal, so I'm trying to catch up to those. But other than that, I think this is a perfect segue because we could get into manga a little bit if you want. Eden Zero. Like, I wanted to know what your thoughts are on that because a lot of people have something to say about Eden Zero.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do have mixed feelings on that series, but personally, I'm really interested to see like what direction it's going to take because, of course, it's written by the mangaka that did Fairy Tail, and this is the new series that he's doing. And one of the things that interested me when I was reading the first chapter was probably the whole space concept because I've always wanted to read a manga. And keep this in mind, I haven't read much manga out there, so if there happens to be a manga similar to what I'm about to say, then if you want to recommend that to me, that'll be pretty cool. But but pretty much like they had this whole thing going on in the store where they're traveling planet to planet and they're discovering like how the world works in different areas and stuff. And I actually find that pretty interesting. So that's why I'm really invested in this series because like the thing about me is like I'm not that type of guy who looks at a series when it comes to shonen specifically and I'm like, oh wow, that fight is like mind blowing. Like, no, that's not really me. Like, the thing about me is, like, I try looking for things that, like, draw me in. Like, with My Hero, for example, the meaning behind a lot of things going on in the story, and you got like all the things that like are symbolic and what it's supposed to represent, the foreshadowing and stuff like that. Like that's how I am. Like I focus on the story and everything like that. So that's what I'm hoping. Even though like Fairy Tale, even though like I've had mixed feelings of Fairy Tale, I'm still willing to see like what direction this is gonna go. But Eden Zero, like for right now, like I am enjoying the series. Another one that came out not that long ago, I believe, is Orient. I know me and you, Zypher, were reading that manga. I know you're caught up to date with it. I think I took a break. No, I didn't take a break. I honestly forgot when the chapters came out because the thing is, like when it first came out, it used to come out like every single Wednesday when it was scheduled. Then after a while, something changed, and I don't know really.
They switched up translators or something like that, so I think they were a couple weeks behind, but they're caught up now.
Is that stuff as set in stone as like anime air dates? I feel like that's more like weird timing because those are mostly translations versus like anime has official translations for the most part that come out.
There's no official date. It's
Yeah.
like because we're going off of people who just translate it because they're fans. So
Yeah.
there's never a specific time. We just literally have to hope that they come around the same time.
Plus, I mean, isn't with like manga, they take like many more breaks, I feel like, than like anime for the most part. Like you can actually have breaks between chapters. Like more than an anime does.
Is like a mangaka, there's one guy writing a story versus an anime studio that has like 10s plus 20 people working on it. So it's easy to replace people, but with like when it comes to manga, you have one guy who has to constantly draw week by week, so it gets very tiresome. But to give my opinion on Eden Zero, I'm gonna be 100% honest. It is not a bad series at all. I have a lot of issues with it, with some of those things that Mashima is doing. But the series is not bad by any means. It's like a solid 6 or 7 right now. I think the story is going in a good place. I'm into the whole setting. It's like in outer space, and they're like essentially space pirates in a sense. But my only issue with it is that it feels like Mashima can't give up his past series, which is Fairy Tail, and he just keeps making constant references to it. That's my only issue with it, is the fact that even in like chapter 3, the latest chapter, it's like half of the chapter was just Fairy Tail references. But other than that, if like Horikoshi could just tone that down a little bit and not focus so much on the Fairy Tail references, I feel like that series could actually be really good. And then in terms of Orient, it's very difficult to say because the last it's been 6 chapters in, and it's mostly just been one big battle that they're fighting. And then you find out that he's gonna be joining these samurais called Bushi, and he's gonna be joining them. They introduced like a bunch of characters, a cool cast. Like it's all been shown now, the whole cast of characters. But for Orient, I have to see where it goes. But that's like also like a 7 for me. But other than that, for those are the 2 new mangas I've been reading. But yeah.
Don't you still keep up with One Piece and stuff as well with the manga?
Well, yeah, in terms of continuation manga, that's what I cover is like One Piece and My Hero Academia. When it comes to One Piece, you know, Wano's starting, incredible arc start. We're already getting stuff with Ace, like his like backstory to like what he did in Wano. Then we're also getting some stuff with you know, we saw Zoro slice a building in half, like literally just his introduction into Wano, and he was like, "Sorry, Kinemon." And then in terms of My Hero, you guys already know the My Hero chapter. Like if there's any anime onlys in here, I don't want to spoil it because there might be some anime onlys here. But you guys already know, the people that read the manga, next chapter is gonna be absolutely insane.
So
yeah, as like a lot of people.
My bad, you can go, kid.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people that know what Zypher's referring to. This is a moment that's been theorized in the community for a very long time, and you guys know the popular theory. And I don't want to like come out and say it because I know there is some anime onlys watching, but manga readers, if you know what I'm saying, then you know where I'm getting to. But this is something, like I said, the community has been theorizing for a long time, and we could finally see it come into play next chapter because it was said on the official Twitter My Hero Academia, this is supposed to be the turning point of the story. So you can only imagine what that means, what that's going to bring us fans of My Hero Academia. Like Zypher just said, it's going to get insane as these chapters keep coming out week by week. We're going to be getting more reveals. We're going to be getting more build up for like a whole bunch of foreshadowing and stuff like that for things to see in the future. And the direction that Horikoshi is going right now, dude, like week by week, it's just been insane. And I'm just looking forward for more chapters.
So, would you say, as far as both of those mangas, they're probably both in their like best arcs or something so far?
Yeah, it's probably their. I wouldn't say best because for One Piece at least because it's still starting out, but it's
Yeah.
potentially it's the most anticipated arc, so it could be one of the best arcs. And in terms of My Hero Academia, this is the question that people have been asking since the beginning of My Hero. One of the big questions is finally being addressed. So in terms of that, yeah, it's probably both in what people have been anticipating, probably in its best arcs.
Yeah, it definitely has a potential to reach that point. Like as long as you get like more build up, more revelations. Like I said, this could like really elevate the story to a different level. So it definitely does have the potential for it to be like the best arc.
Yeah, that sounds, I mean, really good as far as content creation goes, because making chapter like reactions for you guys, I feel like now is probably at the best time to be doing that stuff. I don't know if
Oh
you
yeah, for
guys
sure.
feel the same.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
definitely.
I think a kid could agree. We've been seeing the bump in views because now more hype stuff is coming, and like so more people are searching that stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, especially with One Piece, like, I'm not an expert in One Piece and I don't really know that much about it, but I've heard people talk about Wano and like the hype around all of that stuff. So, yeah.
It's been something anticipated for a very long time. But Habit, you want to like try going ahead and talk about like what we plan to do with the website if you have like want to give like a
Yes.
brief summary of that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, our idea right now is, I mean, sticking with the news stuff, but we also want to try to bring more editorials and kind of original stuff to the website alongside those news things, just to kind of give it a fresh outlook versus a lot of these other sites that do stuff towards that line, like Anime News Network and people like that. I feel like is mostly just centered around just one thing. So
Mm-hmm.
the idea with the website originally is it was going to be like a place where you could find more than just like one centralized thing. So typically you would have bookmark like an Anime News Network, and then something else to find like air dates, something else to have like promotion, do like editorial type articles, things towards that line. So it's kind of just like a mashup between that whole thing. And I feel like the people that we have right now, we have a good diversity of people. So it's definitely good in the sense of just content creation for that. Um, as far as some of the other stuff that we do, I mean, like I said, we do like the anime air dates and stuff. We have the current times for some of the stuff. I don't think it's as accurate as it could be. We're probably going to have to wait like a couple more weeks before we get that really solid line of like what time everything's going to air, but we're trying to like get that to be pretty precise, especially when it comes to like the English stuff. Some of the stuff doesn't have official releases, so that's why it's good to give it a couple weeks, because then we know when translation times come into play and stuff. So, I mean, as far as that, I feel like that's kind of what we're focusing on with the website. And then with the YouTube channel, we're going to have this podcast, and we have a couple other things that we have planned that I'm not really going to spoil for you guys, but definitely look forward to a lot of awesome different varieties of content for the channel as well. I feel like that'll definitely be something aside from the website, kind of. Not a lot of the stuff on here will be quite relevant to the website. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but I mean, we'll have podcasts and other types of things that are more video oriented versus the website is more article based, if that makes sense. And we're definitely going to have other guests on the podcast. We have talks with some other people, so you'll definitely see some fresh faces here as well. And we'll try to get like different people that write for the website as well to definitely guest on here as well. So then you can get to know them a little bit more too. But yeah, I don't know. What else do you think needs to be addressed Zypher or Kid.
I think that's pretty much it. And also, I think this is something I feel like a lot of websites do. I want to quickly touch upon on the Anime Avenue website is like, if you ever want to know, we're gonna be updating this every season. If you ever want to know when any episode airs in Japanese time and in the American time, you could go on the website right now, animeavenue.co, and look at anime air dates, and we have every single anime of this season so far all listed. If you ever want to find out what time the anime is coming out, so if you ever need to look for that on the website. In terms of self promotion, we have a self promotion tab. If you make content, whether it be, I think it's mostly only YouTube, right?
Yeah,
That we're
it's only like YouTube, or I mean, really kind of any video platform. I know some people use I can't even think off the top of my head what the one Japanese kind of equivalent to YouTube is for anime. I forgot what the website is called, but regardless, any sort of video uploading site will be able to be promoted. So if for some reason you're not uploading on YouTube, you can still be sure to do that. We're also recruiting writers as well.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna quickly go into, is recruiting writers. If you're like someone who likes writing and giving their opinion on stuff, because there's editorials, and if you like reviewing stuff, there's you just want to make an article in general. You can even promote your own content if you make content. If you go to recruiting writers, submit your form there. You could promote your video underneath the article if you help write articles for us. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it for the website. You guys can check it out for yourself. If you have any other questions, regardless of the other things that we mentioned, there's a contact page there. You can email if you have any questions or any business opportunities that anybody here would ever want to hit us up with. But I think other than that, moving on from Anime Avenue, if you guys don't mind, since Anime Expo was just happened a week ago, I could talk about a little bit of that.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I've been preaching this, and I'll preach this forever. And I know Kid and Habit couldn't make it, but they're definitely gonna try to making it next year. I think Habit said he's trying to 100% go next year, right?
I'll be sure to be there, and I'm going to try to make a conscious effort to attend some more cons in the next 2 years. So
yeah, same. Because like I haven't been in one in like 2 years or so, and when I was there, they were really fun to go there. Like the thing I like about cons the most is like going there, not only just for the experience, but like meeting new people and stuff. It's really,
So it being my very first con, like a first time in Los Angeles, everything there was basically a first experience. By the way, if you haven't had In-N-Out, try it. It is amazing. It was my first time trying in LA, but it was an absolute blast. Like I think the biggest thing to take away from it, from what Kid said, was meeting all the people that you know online and then seeing them in person is like there's such a surreal feeling that the people that you relate with, you connect with, you share your same passion with, and then you meet them in real life, surrounded by the stuff that you're passionate about. And there were like so many awesome things going on. There was like so many events happening. I got to see the My Hero premiere. The other stuff I missed, but like they were premiering JoJo Part 5, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be premiering a lot more bigger series even next year. I think they're trying to ramp it up every single year. And the only thing I would probably complain about is the amount of people there, and it's only going to increase every single year. So if you've got the money, I highly suggest getting the premiere pass. Other than that, you can still do everything, but it's an absolute blast. The parties there, the people that you meet, the artist alley, the exhibit hall. You could try all the new anime games that are coming out. It is an absolute amazing experience, and if you've never been to a convention, I definitely recommend it. I know I'm gonna. There's no way I'm not letting Habit or Kid not show up next year, so we're definitely all gonna be there. So if any of you are thinking of going to Anime Expo, you could definitely meet all of us there, because I'm gonna make sure that they all go there next year.
The one thing I'll say about Expo though is I definitely think someone should go to another convention before going to Expo, because Expo's pretty crazy. I believe the estimated amount of people that was there, I believe, was over 150,000 for this year.
Yeah, no, it was 110,000.
But yeah, I don't know, something towards that line. But I've been to a few conventions in the past. Typically, they're not that crazy. I mean, you have other exceptions, kind of like Comic-Con and some of the other big things, maybe like E3, things like that, kind of the same size. And I feel like when it comes to big ones like that, it's more the fun of being able to, one, meet people in the community and things like that when it comes to a bigger one, versus when you go to smaller ones, you're really able to do much more, if that makes sense. You're able to go to more like panels and things like that without really having to worry about influx of people taking your spots, things towards that line. Expo is definitely a good experience just because pretty much the majority of the community when it comes to people who do YouTube definitely go to that. So as far as that, definitely don't feel shy going up to people like that. I definitely feel like that's one thing when somebody goes to a con is like the being unsure of whether or not they can go up and just like talk to someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people I feel like get nervous or they feel like they shouldn't approach them because they're busy or no. I think that I had to make this clear. For some reason, there was a couple of people that like DM me. They're like, "Oh, dude, I saw you, but I was too scared to approach." I'm like, "No, bug us. Take the time to pause us. Let us meet you because I don't think I think I could say this on behalf of Habit or Kid. I think it would be amazing to meet anyone that's like a fan or just like a friend. Like I think it's absolutely cool that even exists, like where you could just someone knows you from the internet and just like, hey dude, I watch your stuff, it's really cool. I don't think anyone here would have a problem with that. I think it's a really cool and surreal feeling that someone wants to stop you and say hi to you.
Yeah.
Definitely for sure.
I mean, even from the small conventions that I've been to, I've met a few people from the community, and it was like a really good experience. That's definitely why I want to make sure I end up at Expo next time, and hopefully we can have some special stuff that not gonna say now, but hopefully we have some stuff planned for the future, and hopefully that comes into fruition before then as well. So I'm really looking forward to next year. I know probably Kid and Zypher are as well, because I feel like it was kind of like a plan for like a lot of people to go, and then a ton of people weren't able to kind of at the last minute. So I feel like kind of having I would say like kind of our friend circle being there as well versus just it being people that were not as close with being there will be definitely a lot better. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. But I think that's mostly it. What do you guys think?
I think that pretty much covers it. I don't think, Kid, unless you have something else that you want to bring up that we could talk about. I think we've covered almost everything as in terms of introductions go.
Yeah, but like adding on to like what you said about Expo, it's a fun experience. Like Habit said, if you want to attend other conventions as well, so you can get the feel of what a convention feels like, I recommend that. Because like honestly, like I've been looking into Anime Expo for a long time. Like even before I met the both of you, like I've always wanted to go there because I've always wanted to attend like a big convention just to get the feel of it and like just meeting a whole bunch of people and just experience a whole different things, because there is conventions in my area but they're not as big as that. So like I just want to go there just to get the experience because I just heard so many stories about it.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, when it comes to conventions and the anime scene, that's definitely the one you want to go to. I mean,
Yeah.
speaking from my experience, I live on the East Coast, and I believe Kid and Zypher both
We all
live
live
on
on
the
the East
East
Coast.
Coast as well, but um, the East Coast kind of doesn't have like big conventions per se like that compared to the Western side.
I feel like the Western side is more culturally aware. Like there's so much more diversity there versus East Coast, which like they're not really big on that kind of stuff. I might be completely wrong, but I feel like the West Coast is a lot more passionate about things out of the country versus the East Coast.
Yeah, I mean that, and I feel like there's better like convention centers and things towards the western side of the U.S. versus the eastern side, because there's very few like big convention centers. Even a couple of the conventions that I went to last time were in like very small things, like typically in like the bottom of like a hotel type thing. So definitely like when it comes to like Expo, I mean it's literal convention center. So when you're talking convention, you're talking like the max opportunity kind of, if that makes sense. Definitely the whole experience overall should definitely be very great. So I wouldn't miss out on it if you guys do have the opportunity to go there, especially if you're on the West Coast. I feel like you would definitely be missing out to not go, because I feel like it'd be a lot easier for you to go versus someone on the East Coast and or overseas. But I do know that a lot of people from overseas even come for Anime Expo as well. There's typically guests and things towards that line that are from Japan as well. I believe a couple of Japanese voice actors were there this year, and there's usually a couple of those, and sometimes a couple of studios where the Japanese people that work for the studios are there as well. So definitely overall a great experience. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
All right, well, I think that's where we'll wrap it up, guys. Definitely, if you enjoyed the podcast, definitely give it a thumbs up. Like we said before, everyone's links will be in the description. Everything for the website will be in the description. And if you have any suggestions when it comes to podcast topics, definitely put it in the comment section below once this video goes live, which shouldn't take too long, probably like 10 minutes or so to process, but definitely give this a thumbs up, and yeah, see you guys.
Peace out.